welcome to the Ableton Live Pack of Wave Alchemy's SYS-100 drum library. To start off with, I'll just show you these macros here and this overview and the drum pads. Every sound in the library is accessible through these drum pads, and it's arranged in 4 different sections. So this is the processed section. Next block of 16, unprocessed. This is the tape. This is the vinyl section. So it's duplicate sounds put through different processes. The first set of macros on the drum rack are for mixing the different drum types. They work globally across all the sections in the same way. So for example, all the kicks are routed through the same level control. I'm just making a quick sequence to show you this. If you need level control over an individual sample, you can use velocity or the pad's chain level to do that. So you can see I've got drums from a couple of different sections going here. So I'm just changing the cymbal level, and the hats, and the kick, and the snare. Here you see the first set of macros associated with individual drum pads. There's a couple of different variations. This one's the version that's on the kick drum pads. This one's kick 2. And you can scroll through all the kick samples in the process section using the first macro. And this macro is the same on all the drum pads, so the snare will select snares and claps. Hats and cymbals are selected on the respective pads. This is the coarse tune. It goes up and down an octave, and we've got a fine tune which goes up and down half a note, so you can get your pitch exactly how you want it. The next macro is the release time. Then we have a pan control. And then we have the filters, which are off by default, bypassed. You actually have to move the filter before it becomes activated. We have a high pass and a low pass and a resonance control for the kick drum pad. Other drum pads access a slightly different set of macros. Instead of the resonance macro, you have this one called R-Robin, which is a round robin simulator, which gives a slightly different variation of drum sound with each press. The amount is actually a mixer between the variation and the straight sample. It's best to demonstrate the effect of this using hats and cymbals, so I've started a little sequence to show you the variation coming in. This is without, and I'll dial it up. So you can hear it sounds like a different cymbal with each hit. I'm just going to bring in some hi-hats. So again, at the moment, there's no variation in the hi-hat sound. But when I turn the R-Robin function up, it gives a more live, natural variation. The next set of macros is called Accent, and this is a custom effect available on the kick or snare pads. I'm going to demonstrate with 2 kick pads playing the same kick. If you see, it's on kick number 2, and both snare pads using snare number 1. You have direct access to all the main parameters for this accent effect, but for most cases all you need is the on-off. I'll show you this using a sequence, just 2 kick drum pads and 2 snare pads, playing the same sounds. So I'm just selecting where I'm going to put my accent. So I select the drum pad, select accent, and turn it on. Anywhere above halfway on that macro is on. And the first kick I'll give an accent to as well, to switch it on. So now you can hear an accent on the first kick and the second snare. You can do this how I've done, or you can automate the accent. The next group of macros along is for EQ. Each drum pad has its own EQ set. Usually you can just use the high and low pass filters on the first set of macros, but if you want to get into detail, it's here. I'm going to demonstrate this on a kick drum. It's the same kick drum here in the processed and tape version, and I have them both running in parallel in this sequence. So I select the kick drum I want to EQ, select EQ, and again you have to switch it on before it's active. Anywhere above halfway on the on-off control will switch it on. You've got a low shelf here. Got a high shelf as well. And we've got mids and lows. So if you do need to apply specific EQ to an individual drum sound, you're able to with this set of macros. The next set of macros along is for reverb. Each pad has its own reverb section. I'm just in the main mix section now, and I'm turning up a percussion line. And then I'm going to select a cowbell. It's on a percussion 1 pad. It's filtered down at the moment, so I'm going to filter it up so you can hear it. Click on perc 1. Turning up the low pass so you can hear it come in. And then I'm going to apply reverb to it. So I click on the reverb soft key, turn the mix up, and you can hear it with reverb. Now I'm using the reverb filter. It's a bandpass filter and it affects only the reverb, not the signal beneath it. And I'm going to bypass it by turning it all the way off, so it's completely open now. And then back to the filter on the cowbell. The last set of macros for the individual drum pads is the custom delay macro set. There's 2 delays in series, a ping pong into a simple delay. Just turning up the mix. And I'm going to touch the filter. Again, it's a bandpass filter, just for the ping pong. And then the divide. It's sync to tempo. And the feedback, and then the mix of the simple delay. So the ping pong goes into the simple delay and you can delay that further. Just using the divide there. It also has a swing capability on both the simple and the ping pong. And because the reverb is first in the chain, you can create reverb into delay effects. There's one more section to the live pack, which is a set of bus effects, which affect the drum rack as a whole, not the individual drum pads. I'm just turning up a percussion line here using the mixer. So on the top right of the push 2, you can use this button to shift over to the bus effects. First one is Reverb, which works the same as the Reverb on the individual pads, but as you can hear, it affects every sound the drum rack is making. Again, they're all bypassed by default. You have to turn the mix up to enable them. So the delay is the same ping pong and simple delay. The only difference is it has a freeze effect, which affects the ping pong. It's a toggle, anywhere above halfway enables freeze. And we have a bus EQ. It's the same as the EQ on the individual drum pads. And we have a bus compressor. The threshold activates the bypass. So you actually turn the threshold down to switch it on. Then we have the filter section. We have LFOs and low pass and high pass filters. It's changing the LFO amount. The high pass filter is the same. So we have an LFO amount here. And then you have the rate next to that. It's synced to tempo. For more information, please refer to the user guide that comes with the Wave Alchemy download, which goes into a lot more detail. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the SYS-100 drum library.